Put in the title.
Alright.
What episode is this?
It's 30. Are you ready?
Ready and rolling.
All right. And looks like we are live. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Turn 4 podcast. I'm your host, Daniel. If you guys are wondering, Mauricio and Anthony are not in this episode. Unfortunately, they could not make it, but I'm here to welcome back one of the panel from the Turn 4 podcast, Addison. So it's great to have you back, man. We missed y'all. How's it been?
It's finally good to be back. Been getting a little impatient, but it's good to be back.
Yeah. If you guys are wondering, so Addison will officially be back at the beginning. He will be part of it. He will be a part of this playoffs, and he will make his official return in the 2022 season. So he'll be in the panel for the remaining. He'll be back for the playoffs, and
Is this just a one-off? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for this moment, but we're actually gonna have you on for the playoffs. So since the playoff and the wrap up to Phoenix, since he will be at Phoenix. So all right, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of announcements that happened here today, and yeah, so let's start it out with Richmond this weekend. Martin Truex Jr. He got a late rally to hold off a late charging Denny Hamlin to collect his fourth win of the season. With that win now, it automatically locks him into the round of 12. Kyle Larson, with the amount of points that he's accumulated throughout the regular season, the stage points, the playoff points, he also locks himself into the round of 12. So Addison, starting you, what was your main takeaway the weekend at Richmond?
Well, I actually thought the race would be a bit of a snooze fest because like last year's race was zero action, but there proved to be some action. But when Truex got that penalty on the start of the race, I didn't think he'd have the chance. I thought it would be all Denny Hamlin or whoever had the chance to get him. But I kind of would say Truex is now starting to become the bit of the master at Richmond because now has won three times at Richmond?
Yeah, 3 times.
Because before 2019, we would just call Martin Truex Jr. the driver who has never won a short track. But after Richmond, you can call Martin Truex Jr. the sort of king of short tracks. But I would give the race a bit of a 7 out of 10, or 8 out of 10, because there will be a few more laps. So I thought it would be between the two Gibbs guys of Hamlin and Truex, but Truex was able to pull it off.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, I think for this race, I mean, we saw Hamlin, who once again, he had a dominating performance. I mean, during the spring race, he definitely had a dominating run, but that wasn't able to get it done after that late caution with Harvick in the spring race. But this time, I mean, I think with Truex just had a better pit stop in the end. We saw that penalty in the beginning of the race. It looks like his race was over, but he was able to manage. He was able to manage himself to get another win. But I gotta say, I think I think this is honestly a statement win for the whole competition, because the fact is, Richmond is kind of the closest track we can compare to with Phoenix, considering the fact that Phoenix is not a short track, but it races like a short track, and
they do run the low downforce package there.
Yeah, they do. And Truex has been, if you look at all his four wins this season, they've been on the 750 horsepower track. You look at Phoenix, Martinsville, Darlington, and then Richmond. So I gotta say, Truex is definitely a driver you got to watch out for heading to, if he does make the Final Four. I think he is definitely someone you got to watch out for Phoenix. I mean, the fact that he's been the best driver in the 750 track. But honestly, I feel like we're starting to see the peak of Truex during the playoffs now. I feel like we're at the point where he is now finally starting to peak at the right time. And I think we're also starting to see this with Joe Gibbs Racing too. We're seeing these Joe Gibbs Racing drivers. I mean, even at one point in the race, we saw all four of the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers run out front in the top five. And I gotta say, I feel like Hendrick Motorsports peaked a little bit too soon. And I mean, especially now that Joe Gibbs Racing, they're now starting to perform when it matters now. I gotta say, JGR might be Larson's competition heading into Phoenix.
Compared to last year, Truex has like only one win, and the rest of the season he didn't get a win. But compared to this year, 4 wins. Definitely, I would say this would be a better season than last year for Truex.
Yeah, I totally. Yeah, I mean, I think for Truex, I mean, we've seen it. I remember in 2017. I mean, Martin Truex used to be that mile and a half driver where he would literally dominate on mile and a half and not winning short tracks. But it seems to me that ever since they changed the 550 package, that hasn't been Truex's bread and butter. Now his bread and butter has became the short tracks. He's won at Martinsville, he's won at Richmond, he's won at Phoenix. He's pretty much even road courses which are 750 horsepower tracks. But the only track he still needs to win is the one where on Addison's background. That's the only track he still needs to cross off the bucket list. I mean, Bristol Motor Speedway. So yeah, he needs to. That's one of the.
See him in my background.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, heading into Bristol, I mean, some of these drivers. I mean, I look at some of these drivers. I mean, especially the Hendrick. Both two out of the four Hendrick drivers. You look at Alex Bowman and William Byron. I mean, they're heading into Bristol. They're gonna have to either accumulate stage points, or they're gonna have to in a must win. I know William Byron. I know William Byron is definitely heading into a must win, heading into Richmond now. So right here I have the playoff standings. So the playoff standings with Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. They're both winning their races at Darlington and Richmond. They're officially locked into the round of 12. Kyle Larson, we all knew he was going to make it to the round of 12. Especially with all the points he has accumulated throughout the regular season. But what really surprises me is that, based on how consistent William Byron was this regular season, with the win he had, the consistency he hit, that top 10 stretch he had during the spring heading into the summer. And now with him cutting a tire down at Darlington, not really having the best run at Richmond, but he's in a tough spot now. I mean, it's at this point where he's going to have to get a win if he wants to save his season.
If it be between Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman or Tyler Reddick, I could say the one that I would see making it into the next round. I would honestly have to say Bowman.
Mm-hmm. I can see. I just feel like with Bowman, I mean, yeah, he has 3 wins, but I mean, throughout the regular season, Bowman, he's just been there's been times where he would be very inconsistent, compared to where the rest of the Hendrick drivers were. But we did see this last season with Alex Bowman. We did see him, stepping a notch, into the playoffs and making a deep run. But Alex Bowman, he's gonna have to start collecting stage points. I mean, stage wins, stage points in the first 2 stages, probably running top 5 is what it's gonna take. I mean, it's gonna have to take for either Eric Almirola or Kurt Busch, but I'm surprised Eric Almirola is inside the top 12 because, I mean, before the playoffs, I had Eric Almirola, I had Tyler Reddick, Michael McDowell, but I did not have Alex Bowman or William Byron out of the round of 12. But I gotta say, the one I'm surprised with is Brad Keselowski. I mean, I mentioned this in my if you guys haven't seen the podcast episode, I believe it was episode 28, where me, Anthony, and Mauricio made our Mauricio made our playoff predictions. We both had Brad Keselowski not making it past the round of 16. I mean, based on the fact how it's been a lame duck season for Brad Keselowski, and the fact that he hasn't really performed up to Brad Keselowski standards that we've been used to seeing, especially the performance he had last season. But I'm surprised Brad Keselowski, he actually proved me wrong in this one. He's actually not in a very bad spot, but he can still fall out. I mean, if he has a bad race, but he's actually in a much better spot than what I expected him to be.
before 2020, he would the last 2 years before 2020, he wouldn't even make the round of eight. But then 2020, he would just become more better than 2018 and 19. And
Hmm.
could Keselowski make another run to the round of the championship four, or can he make another, or can he just
Hmm.
make a run to the round of eight?
Yeah. All right. So looking at the playoff grid, which driver are you mostly concerned for? That is between ninth through 16th. You look at someone and you look at he definitely needs. Well, besides Michael McDowell, I mean, which driver who you had making it to the round of 12 that right now is currently on the verge of falling out of the top of not making it to the round of 12? Do you look at that this driver needs to definitely turn his season around?
Well, got nothing to worry about Kyle Busch because he's pretty much in the clear, and we're going to his racetrack that some people call his playground. Almirola, not quite sure, but he just has to have those good runs to and keep getting those points to stay in. Kurt Busch, um, I don't know what to say about him. Mostly just I would say just winning you're in. And Alex Bowman, if he wants to get in the next round to knock Kurt Busch out, I'd say Bowman has a better race than Kurt, or Bowman gets more points than Kurt. For Tyler Reddick, um, mostly just stay out of trouble and hoping that the guys up in the top 12 have problems. William Byron, no question about it. It's a win and you're in. Michael McDowell, I don't really know what to say about him. Just he's pretty much already out.
Yeah, his dream season pretty much is coming
Even
to an
though being
end.
the upset of the Daytona 500, but even though first few races he did go on a good run in the top 10 and in top tens, but McDowell's like that average lap car sometimes. Sometimes he
Yeah,
has a fast car, sometimes he doesn't.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the one I'm really concerned for the most is definitely William Byron. I mean, I even during the playoffs, I had William Byron as a possible Final Four, maybe round of eight, maybe a round of eight type of driver. But like you said, I mean, William Byron, he's gonna have to get a win. I mean, unless something crazy happens, unless if Bowman or Reddick have problems early in the race, then that could give William Byron the advantage. But
You have anyone in the top 12.
yeah, or anyone in the top 12. But more than likely, he's gonna have to collect stage points if anyone in the top 12 were to have problems.
If
So
Byron
at this,
can't win, go ahead.
I mean, it's Bristol. I mean, he hasn't really been the best at Bristol. I mean, compared to guys like to Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin. He he's not there yet. I mean, he's been showing signs. Like, I mean, compared to the last season to this year, yeah, William Byron has taken that next step, being a top 10 driver and being consistent, but I still need to see that step where he can go out there and be a threat for wins every weekend and be a championship contender. I mean, he's shown he can win races now, but he still needs to take that step in being a championship contender. And we could see that with him next season, but compared to Byron this season, I say this has been a consistent season for Byron, whether he makes it in or not to the past round of 16.
If Byron doesn't get like enough points, if he like finishes like eighth or seventh in the stages, I'd say either Reddick and Bowman and Kurt both have issues, or somebody else up top has any more problems that can put Byron up farther in the standings if Reddick, Bowman, and Kurt do have problems, if Byron does get less points in stages.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for Kyle Larson, I mean, he's already locked in, but he still wants to win at Bristol Motor Speedway. I mean, this is a track that honestly, I'm still been waiting for him to win at. I mean, But yeah. All right. So, so eliminated this weekend, I have Eric Almirola. I have Alex Bowman, William Byron, and Michael McDowell eliminated. I think Tyler Reddick makes it in. I think he could have a consistent run at Bristol. So, I mean, that's what I see happening. That's who I have my 4 eliminated.
If that does happen, you'll get 3 right, but 1 wrong.
True. I mean, because I did have Alex Bowman making it past around 16. I didn't have Almirola making it past around 16. And shockingly, I didn't have Brad Keselowski making it past around 16. So yeah, that kind of messed up my predictions. But yeah.
You think Brad Keselowski would almost have the same season as 2018 and 19?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, because at that time in both 2018 and 2019 seasons, he had already gotten 3 wins. But with Keselowski, he's only had 1 win at Talladega, which came at Talladega. And the rest of the part, besides all the other races, besides Loudon, he hasn't really been out front or been contending for wins. He's kind of been through that 7th through 10th place range. And then especially, with this being a lame duck year, he'll be leaving Penske at the end of the season to join Roush. I mean, we could see one. I mean, Brad Keselowski in lame duck years, they seem to go well. I mean, you look at 2012, with Dodge leaving after the 2012 season. What happened? They ended up winning the championship. Could the same thing happen with Brad Keselowski? The fact that he will be leaving Penske with winning another championship for them, who knows? But the way it's looking, I don't see it.
Though he still has that win at Talladega, but still has that consistency in some races to stay up front, but not like all of them.
Yeah, he's not at the level that Kyle Larson or Martin Truex Jr. or Chase Elliott are at right now. I mean, it's safe to say that Ryan Blaney's pretty much been the best Penske driver this season. And that's something that we've been waiting for Ryan Blaney, for him to be the top driver at Penske. But yeah. All right, so that will do it for the playoff discussion and this weekend at Richmond. But we do have some big announcements. So NASCAR has dropped their 2022 Cup Series schedule, and there's been a few major changes, especially with the season opener. A new track added to the schedule, a track losing its second date, and a major playoff shakeup towards the racetracks. All right, so I'm gonna pull up the NASCAR the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But before we begin, so here are some of the changes that have been made to the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. All right, so the LA Coliseum will officially become the Busch Clash. So the Busch Clash has been moved from the Daytona Road Course to the LA Coliseum, which will be hosted 2 weeks before the Daytona 500. And as well, Gateway, also known as the Worldwide Technology Raceway, has officially been added to the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule, which results in them replacing one of its Pocono Raceway race dates on June 5th, 2020. So, also, for the first time since 1989, there will only be one off week once the season starts, and it will be in June after the Sonoma race, which means that the series will race on Easter Sunday for the first time since 1989, when a snowstorm the week after the Daytona 500 forced the series to postpone the Richmond race to Easter on March 26. Also, as well, see what else I can find. Homestead Miami Speedway will be back in the playoffs. This time it will be an October race in the playoffs, and it will be one of the round of 8 races. So yeah.
Nashville is also making a return.
Nashville? Didn't it make a return this year?
Another return. That was what I meant to say.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Did you think I meant the fairgrounds?
Oh yeah, I thought you meant the fairgrounds. I'm like, since when did they announce the fairgrounds?
They're making another return to the super speedway.
Gotcha. Yeah. Let's see what else I can find. So Worldwide Technology Raceway moves in. So yeah, so NASCAR the Cup Series schedule will be moved to there will only be one off weekend. And also another change is that Circuit of the Americas is still in the schedule, but this time it will be in late March instead of May. I think this was a much better idea to have it because in May, according to Texas, in May it seems to rain a lot, and we all know how the first race at Coda turned out. There's a lot of rain, a lot of precipitation. We've seen a lot of scary wrecks, especially with the one with Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Custer, which honestly I feel like they should have stopped the race at that moment. But
And maybe just postpone the race until they
yeah.
get like a dry track.
The NASCAR All-Star Race will return to Texas Motor Speedway, but it will be in May instead of June. It will be a week before the Coca-Cola 600.
Just like the real All-Star race back when they took place in Charlotte.
Yeah. All right, so let me see. All right, so we're gonna go over the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. I went over the changes. So February 6th, the Clash will be in the LA Coliseum. February 17th will be the duel at the Daytona International Speedway. February 20 will kick off the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season from the Daytona 500. February 27th, NASCAR returns to the Auto Club Speedway. March 6th will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. March 13th will be Phoenix Racing. That will wrap up the West Coast Swing. March 20th will be at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. March 27th, Circuit of the Americas has been moved.
Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, not sure how this new reconfiguration is going to work out, but
let's hope it's not going to be another Texas Motor Speedway because turn 1 and turn 2 is nothing but a wreck fest.
And you can't pass there, so
barely.
Even the drivers don't even like the new Texas reconfiguration. All right, April 3, we'll be racing at the Richmond Raceway. April 9th, we'll be at the Martinsville Raceway. April 17th, we'll be at the Bristol Motor Speedway Dirt Race. April 24th, we'll be at the Talladega Super Speedway. May 1st, we'll be at Dover International Speedway. May 8th, we'll be at the Throwback Race at the Darlington Raceway. May 15th, we'll be at the Kansas Speedway. May 22nd, the NASCAR All-Star Race will be once again at the Texas Motor Speedway for the second year in a row. May 29th, for Memorial Day weekend, we'll be at the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. June 5th, we'll be at the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. So Gateway will have their first cup race there. June 12th, we'll be at the Sonoma Raceway. June 26th, we'll be at the Nashville Super Speedway. July 3rd, for 4th of July weekend, they'll be back once again at Road America for the second year in a row. Too? Which I was there last year, and I'm also going to be there again the next season.
Yeah, boy.
July 10th, we'll be at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. July 17th, we'll be at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. July 24th will be Pocono Raceway. So another one of the changes is Pocono Raceway will now officially have one race day. So after the 2-year experimentation with the Pocono doubleheader, Pocono has lost race date. July 31st will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. August 7th, Michigan International Speedway will host.
Can you stop right there for a second?
Yes.
Since I wasn't on the podcast after Indy, I want to quickly say a few things. I do want them to make a few changes to the track because if they are gonna,
bang your head.
I'm gonna pull up a map very quick.
Yeah, Addison was about to get concussion banging his head though. So.
All right, I just pull up the track on Google Maps.
Yeah. Yo, watch all of a sudden Siri starts talking or Alexa starts talking in 500 feet.
Alexa's no more, unfortunately.
What happened to Alexa?
She apparently likes to listen into us saying stuff, which could be kind of creepy.
All right. Meanwhile, Addison's trying to pull something up on Google. I gotta tell you all this.
All right, I just pulled it up now. So, since I wasn't on the podcast after Indy, since this part of the track has been a bit of an issue because of the curb, my suggestion they should take this part of the track and then instead of going across there, because this part there can barely be any side by side racing. Because it's just that tight.
Mhm.
But reason why I'm just saying this because the curbs and you can easily take flight after you jump one of those curbs. Because fun fact, this actually is part of the F1 circuit that when F1 used to race here, and even F1 used to race turn one, but they can still keep this part. But if they are not to have any more accidents in this area, take this part of the track to make it more safer and less wrecks there.
Yeah. All right. So
And
no,
and Matt H, to answer your question, we don't know if worldwide technology is going to happen in this race.
yeah. All right. Another one of the changes that Richmond Raceway, the second Richmond Raceway race, will no longer be in the playoffs. It has now been moved to the regular season, and it will be run in August 14th. So 2 Richmond races will be in the regular season. It's for the first time since 2017. August 21st will be at Watkins Glen, and then the regular season wraps up on August 27th at Daytona. So for the 400-mile race. All right, so there's been some changes into the NASCAR playoffs. The round of 16 will start out in Darlington Raceway for the Southern 500 on Labor Day weekend. Now the Kansas Speedway has been moved from the round of 8 to the second race of the round of 16, and the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Bristol Night Race will wrap up the round of 16.
No changes there.
Yeah, the round of 12 has one change. Instead of the Texas Motor Speedway has been moved from the round of 8 to the opening race of the round of 12.
Instead of being the third to last race before the champion has been crowned.
Yeah, Talladega Super Speedway will be the second race of the round of 12 as it's been the past 3 seasons. No, actually 4 seasons actually. And the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval will be the third. The second year in a row will be we'll wrap up the round of 12. Will be the cutoff race for the round of 12. And now for the round of 8. So there's been 2 changes for the round of 8. Las Vegas Motor Speedway has been moved from the opening race of the round of 12 to the opening race of the round of 8. The Homestead Miami Speedway is back in the playoffs. It's been moved from the third race of the season to the second race of the round of 8. Martinsville Speedway will continue to be the cutoff race for the championship decider race for the round of 8. And for the third year in a row, Phoenix Raceway will host a finale, which I will also be there as well. So
I'll be at the last race for the Gen 6 cars.
Yeah. So Addison, your main thoughts on the schedule change for 2022?
So for the Coliseum, it's up. I'm starting to think there's going to be another version of Bowman Gray because it's a very small short track. It's like Bristol, but there's no banking. But compared to the Coliseum to Bowman Gray, there's no infield grass. There's just walls. But the Coliseum as a short track is going to be like those short tracks that the Arkham Menards West and East Series race at. But Coda deserved a second chance because last Coda race was just a mess because it was a lot of rain. And can you scroll down for a second? And the Bristol Dirt Race, China wanted that to be just a normal asphalt race because if the Cup Series is to have a dirt race somewhere, they can have it either Eldora, but I was going to think about saying Knoxville, but that race was too much of a wreck fest. So
boy.
if the Cup Series is going to have a dirt race, do Eldora. But the All-Star race happening at Texas, well, I didn't think it would come back. I thought that the All-Star race would just go around different locations. Like after in 2020, that All-Star race was at Bristol. This year it was at Texas, and now it's back at Texas. But I kind of, I would think, or possibly in the future, that probably they should just have the All Star race like different locations, like they go from Charlotte, Bristol, Texas, whatever racetrack can come next. Um, Now about Worldwide Technology Raceway, I did actually imagine seeing Cup cars at Gateway, and I kind of saw it a little unfair that Trucks was the only one to race at a short track. But hey, all you short track lovers, if you wanted more short tracks, you got two more on the schedule, even though that one's a non-points race.
Yeah.
And Nashville, good to have Nashville back on the schedule. And Rhode Island, good that it's finally gonna have some more races besides the Xfinity race. Um, Indy Road Course, I already said about it, said some stuff about it, and nothing really much to say about the playoffs.
Yeah. Well,
But there's a NASCAR exhibition race. What's that all about?
exhibition race, NASCAR exhibition race. Oh, that it's no, it's for those that's in a star, which is
Hmm?
the Clash. That's a star. Like there's a star next to the Clash, which signifies that it's an exhibition race. And no, their exhibition races are like the ones that don't count for points. So like the duels, Clash, and the All Star race. Yeah.
Oh,
But I
so
gotta say,
so that was like telling us what races are non-points races and what ones that are not.
yeah.
Okay, I get it.
All right. So my main takeaway from the schedule, I'm happy to see that Gateway is getting a cup race. You know, it's definitely a short track that I've been wanting to see. You know, I've been wanting to see tracks like Gateway,
Same here.
Memphis. Yeah, Gateway, Memphis, and also the Milwaukee Mile, Nashville Fairgrounds, Rockingham into the Cup Series schedule. But I like the direction NASCAR is doing. You know, they're
Bringing more tracks in.
they're bringing short tracks in. You know, I remember back in the 2003, 2004, when they were making changes to the schedule, where you saw Rockingham, North Wilkesboro losing race dates, you know, for tracks like Kansas or Texas or a Las Vegas race, you know, at that time, you know, where NASCAR was growing in bigger markets, and where NASCAR was growing in bigger markets and trying to make room for those tracks, which majority of them that were coming into the schedule were intermediate tracks or tracks that were longer than a 1.5 mile, which honestly it kind of did affect the tradition. You know, at that time, you know, NASCAR broke off some traditions, which meant, you know, moving Darlington Raceway away from its Labor Day weekend for Auto Club Speedway at that time, or Darlington losing a race date. And Addison, you know, I since, you know, at that time, you know, you weren't really watching NASCAR at that time, or probably weren't around 2003, 2004. But there was a point where,
I was
with all
born
those
2004.
changes, there was a point in all those changes where when they were trying to get rid of the traditional short tracks to make room for these mile and a halves at like Texas or Auto Club, you know, to make room for new markets towards the west side of the uh of the West region of its fan base. There was a point where they were planning on getting rid of Martinsville Speedway and Bristol Motor Speedway. So
Yeah, they're still on the schedule.
yeah, they're still on the schedule. But what was crazy is that there was rumors about that at that time. You know, there's rumors where they were planning on getting rid of short tracks for pretty much intermediate tracks or cookie cutter tracks, how majority of us call them. But honestly, think
Before you continue about your stuff on the schedule about the Coliseum, I don't know why, but the entrance of that place reminds me of Los Angeles International Speedway from Cars One. I don't know why it reminds me of that.
it kind of does. But I will add on to one thing about the LA Coliseum. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really I wasn't really a huge fan of this move. Uh, one, for a few reasons. One, I'm a traditionalist. You know, I've been used to it builds up, you know, it kind of takes away that hype that it builds up for Daytona Speed Weeks. You know, for many years, you know, we've seen this hype for Daytona Speed Weeks. It starts out with preseason testing to Daytona 500 practice to the Clash to qualifying, the duels, trucks, Xfinity race, and then the Daytona 500, all building up for its biggest race of the year. So in a way, it's kind of breaking the tradition of Daytona Speed Weeks. It's something that there's always I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying, but there's always the saying that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's no need to fix it, and I think that's one of the things that I feel like NASCAR dropped the ball with. Now, I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out. I'm not gonna completely bash it all fully. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna have to see how it turns out. And then my second reasoning is that if they're gonna use the Gen 6, the next gen car, it's gonna cost a lot of teams money if this race turns out a wreck fest. I mean, the fact that they're using a new car, and if they're using a new car, it's gonna cost a lot of money for these teams, and especially, if you look at Los Angeles and Daytona Beach, they're almost 2 days apart, literally almost 48 to 50 hours away from each other. So it's going to be a lot of extra work for the transporters, for the hauler drivers that, every week, drive hours and hours to the tracks, to the race shops. It's going to be a lot of work. I mean, especially those that have already gotten tickets to go to the 2022 Daytona Speed Weeks, and the fact that the Clash is at the LA Coliseum. I mean, who's gonna go to Daytona to LA in a span of a week? I mean, the fact with how far they are from each other, it could either be a good move for temporarily, or it can be a terrible move. If this race turns out to be a demolition derby, I think it'd be best if we just go back to either the regular Daytona Oval or the road course, to be honest. I mean, I understand that. All right, what were you saying?
I almost could say that the Coliseum, a race at the Coliseum could almost be like Martinsville, but on a much shorter track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the fact that the race is not for points, it could be a wreck fest, but my main concern is with the next gen cars. I mean, if they're gonna use whatever they have left of the Gen 6 cars, I would be fine with that, because I mean they're no longer gonna use those cars no more. So it'd be a better idea that if it's gonna turn into if that race is gonna be a wreck fest, just use whatever left you have of the Gen 6 cars. In my opinion. But the main concern is for those teams. I mean, especially for those that travel every single week, from the race shop to the hauler drivers, that drive the haulers, hours and hours, and from different racetrack to the race shop, back to the track to the race shop, and especially where it's at, majority of these teams, 2 weeks before 2 to 3 weeks before the Daytona 500, they're already at Daytona Beach, preparing, everything for their biggest race of the year, and pretty much as a preparation for Speed Weeks. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot for these teams, though. And yeah. All right, Addison, can you hear me or no? Yeah, that's what I think. Do you feel like this could have a certain effect on the hauler drivers? The fact that, do you think this could be a huge effect for people that, for those that, work hours and hours just to travel, just to transport those cars to the track and to the race shops? And yeah. All right. So that is the NASCAR Cup Series schedule for 2022. And yeah. All right. I think we have some audio issue. You sure you can hear me, Addison?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. All right. So, just a few things I want to add on with, but another one of my main concerns for the LA Coliseum is the fact that California right now, between all out of all the states right now, they have the strictest COVID restrictions right now. I mean, right now that we're in Delta variant, anything can change. Either that race could be full capacity, limited capacity, or have no fans at all. And right now, California right now, with cases going up again, I mean, California right now, we got last year, they got Auto Club Speedway canceled. I mean,
I had the Daytona Roval replace it.
yeah. So I'm not too entirely sure how all this would work. And the fact that and then one of the other concerns is that traffic in LA, it is hectic there. And especially that around that area is where they will be hosting the Super Bowl. In a way, they're trying to appeal those people who are going to be in there for the Super Bowl for the Busch Clash. But honestly, even if NASCAR tries to compete with the NFL, they're always going to be overshadowed by the NFL. We've seen this numerous times with NBC doing this, especially when it's football season, NBC races at times, that are aired on the original NBC, they'll be moved to NBCSN because of a football game, because of an NFL game. So, and especially with ratings, we've seen ratings go down, especially NASCAR during the season. The ratings go down once the NFL season kicks off. So I wouldn't consider it the best move due to the fact that there will be more people at the Super Bowl than the Busch Clash. And I feel like not many of them are even going to care if NASCAR's there at that area, due to the fact that, the week that literally media week for the Super Bowl is a lot more important than NASCAR right now opening their season at the LA Coliseum. But honestly, I feel like it would be better if they just stick to the traditional in Daytona. I mean, I feel like it'd be better they should just stick to the Busch Clash at Daytona, whether it's the oval or road course. I feel like it builds up the hype for the Daytona 500. It builds up the hype for speed weeks. How many of us, we spent 2 months, preparing for speed weeks. Addison, anything else you want to add on?
Not really.
Yeah. All right, we got all right. So Anthony's watching this podcast. He said, "What up, guys? I'm off work." Anthony, watching this, man. You already know. It's my boy right there. All right, so we have discussed our thoughts on the LA Coliseum, and yeah. All right, so before we get on to the pit stop round of the Turn 4 podcast, we'd like to thank Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. Please make sure you shop for your 164, 124 scale diecast of your favorite driver. Check out Lionel Racing for 164 and 124 scale diecast of your favorite driver. Check out your local retailer for any classics or any 2021 NASCAR Cup Series releases. And check out for the new NASCAR Authentics Wave at your local Target and your local Walmart. And so Addison, what diecast are you repping for today's episode?
Well, I got a Haley Deegan RIchmond Art Series car. She ran it, pretty sure 2019. I got this last year, and just got the idea of just getting 124s, and then this idea came to my head of getting this one right here.
Yeah. All right, so I actually got Kevin Harvick's 2014 Budweiser. So the year he won his first and only Cup Series championship. So this is the diecast I am repping for this week. So Lionel, thank you for supporting the show. And now back to the pit stop round. All right, so there's quite a few news that we're going to go over. All right, so here they are. All right, Kobe Howard will to join McAnally RIchmond Racing as Truck Series team. It looks to expand to 2 car teams in 2022. So it's great. So it's good to see them expand their Truck Series program, as they're a very successful ARCA team. Sage Karam will be returning to Jordan Anderson Racing for 2 Xfinity races, and he will be making his Truck Series debut at Martinsville. Howie DeSavanoli returns to the Truck Series competition at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Danny Bond to run
Danny Bone.
Yeah. to run a 100th anniversary scheme at Bristol. All right, and Sheldon Creed will be joining Richard Childress Racing for the 2022 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. So it's great to see a Truck Series driver move up full time to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Addison, what are your thoughts on that?
I first thought Richard Childress could either become a 2-car team next year, or Richard Childress is probably going to stay as a 2-car team. And maybe Snyder probably is out of a ride next year. But I don't know if Creed did say this. But I think when he won his truck championship at Phoenix, I think he probably said he was planning on doing some cup races, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but it's good to not see It's good to see Creed. It's good to not see that. It's good that Creed's not getting rushed to Cup from trucks. Good to have some few years in Xfinity and then get that big opportunity in Cup.
Oh, I could see him being a championship contender in Xfinity. I mean, I gotta say, I would like to see him drive that.
If he's driving the 2, he could be a threat.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he could, especially on the road courses though. Oh boy, watch out. Allmendinger. I think I could see him and Allmendinger going at the road courses.
Allmendinger might whoop his ass. Maybe he will. Maybe he
might
won't.
give him a kind of ass whooping. Oh hell no! All right, Chevrolet returns to Talladega Superspeedway as a sponsor of the Shelby Silverado 250 at the Talladega Truck Series playoff race. Carson Hocevar to honor Johnny Benson with a Bristol paint scheme. So I've checked it out. I love it. Yeah. Carl Chevrolet, which is a Chevy dealership in Ankeny, Iowa, to partner with GMS Racing St. Smith at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Ty Dillon will be returning to Outdoor Motorsports at Bristol while filling out for Brett Moffitt.
Is he really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think now Brett Moffitt's not cleared to return yet.
Well, it's not on the entry list. That's why I gave you the answer that he might be returning, but I guess he's not.
Yeah. So John Nemechek will make his first start with Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series at Talladega instead of Bristol.
I thought his first race was Bristol, but I guess not.
Ty Gibbs is going to be in the 54.
Not Gibbs. It's Burke.
Yep. All right. Justin Allgaier will be returning to JR Motorsports in 2022. I definitely saw that one coming. We don't know what's going to happen with Michael Annett, but Junior has talked that he is planning on running a 5th car for Michael Annett. So yeah. Subway accelerates delivery growth, teams up with NASCAR Cup Series driver Kevin Harvick for upcoming playoff races at Bristol, Las Vegas, and Kansas. So it's great to see another an old sponsor come back to the sport. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for this partnership with Kevin Harvick.
Is taking the spot for Jimmy John's kills. They've been.
Yeah, so that means 2 sandwich shops get replacing one another. So.
Yep.
And last but not least, Live Fast Motorsports to honor 13 service members killed in Afghanistan with Bristol Motor Speedway scheme that he will be running this weekend. All right, so that will do it for the pit stop round of the Turn 4 podcast. So now we're gonna go over now Addison's gonna go over the entry list for this upcoming weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway.
All three are just the Cup Series.
Yeah, just the Cup Series. Yeah, just the Cup Series.
All right.
All right. All right, take it away, Addison.
I was gonna do it on my computer, but
I'll just do it for those who are watching.
All right. Quentin Half is gonna have Boss Haas Cycles. Kurt Busch is back with the usual Monster Energy. Brad Keselowski's got Discount Tire. Austin Dillon has Best Pro Shops Tracker Off-Road. Kevin Harvick has got his first race with Subway Delivery. And the Nashville winning sponsor is back with Kyle Larson, Valvoline. Ryan Newman's got Kohler Generators. Corey LaJoy has Schluter Systems. Tyler Reddick is yet to be announced. Chase Elliott is back with the black and orange Hooters. Almirola's got Smithfield. Hamlin's got FedEx Freight. Ryan Blaney has Menards Richmond. Chase Briscoe has Rush Truck Centers / Cummins.
Yo, that scheme brings Tony Stewart vibes. Well, the
Why?
scheme he drove last week. It kind of reminds me of the Office Depot car.
You think that was kind of like a throwback that Briscoe did?
Probably. I don't know. But it just had that feel it just brought back those memories though.
Yeah.
All right.
James Davison's yet to be announced. Chris Buescher has Fastenal. Kyle Busch has M&M's. Shrek Jr. has Bash Pro Shops. Christopher Bell is back with Sirius XM. De Benedetto has Reese Drawtight. Joe Vagano has Shell Pennzoil. Bo Wallace has McDonald's. William Byron is got that good scheme of Exulta. And Michael McDowell has Lost Travel Stops. Ryan Priest has Viva or Viva. I do not know how to
Viva.
say the I. Viva. Thank you. Anthony Alfredo has Dude Wipes. Cole Custer has Autodesk / Hosttooling.com. Ross Chastain has Moose Fraternity. Eric Jones has U.S. Air Force Tuskegee Airmen. Ricky Stenhouse has Kroger. And Alex Bowman's back with his usual airline. JJ Yaley's Nurtec has Nurtec OD. Cody Ware's usually drives that car, but after Darlington, he ended up getting carbon monoxide poisoning. So that's why Cody Ware's not in the usual 51. Josh Malucki has Insurance King. Garrett Smithley has yet to be announced. David Starr has the Naked Market. What the heck?
Interesting sponsor though. Yeah, especially if you're 18 or plus. If you're under 18, don't do not be looking to race if you see this car, if you see a David Starr car. So
yeah, don't stalk it.
Yeah.
Justin Haley has Diamond Creek Water. BJ McLeod has Honor and Remember. And Daniel Suarez is got his Coca-Cola Racing family sponsor, Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Still haven't seen that scheme, but yeah, it's great to see BJ McLeod. He's actually going to be running a tribute scheme for those 13 service members that died in Afghanistan, which honestly is something that that's there's been a lot going on in this world, that we've been aware of, and it's great to see NASCAR getting involved, especially with the heroes who especially those heroes who be fighting for freedom. They risk their lives for us to do what we're doing right now. So that is the entry list for the NASCAR Cup Series race at the Bristol Night Race. So, all right. So now we've gone over that, we are now going to go
to my favorite moment of the podcast. It's time for the picks.
Yes, our race picks for this weekend. So we have a triple header this weekend. We have Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. So we are now going to start. We're going to start out with the Truck Series, and Addison, take it away.
All right.
Before you begin, also the chat, if you guys are watching, if you guys want to jot down your picks below, you guys feel free to do so as well. So Addison, take it away. Truck Series picks.
All right. My main pick, past years in Bristol, you almost could, I would guess you can call him the king of Bristol. He did win the truck race and the Aqua Menard Series race last year. My main pick, I'm going with Sam Mayer, the guy who's looking to go back-to-back in Bristol. Now my ball pick, he has been kind of up and down at Bristol. 2018 did come close to winning. 2019, he wrecked out of the race. And of course, you can't count him out at some races. My ball pick, why not Mr. John Hunter Nemechek? And my non-playoff pick, that's honestly a tough one. This is a hard one. Okay. My non-playoff pick. He hasn't had for some races this year. He hasn't had the best runs, but did finish third in last year's Bristol race, and of course does have does have some experience in the back what was named the K&N series, but now is the Arca Menard series. My non-playoff pick, I'm gonna go with Tanner Gray.
All right. All right. We got a comment from of course our podcast member Anthony, and he says hashtag exalt the gang. Let's go. So yeah, he's repping his boy Willie B on the show. All right.
Yep.
All right. So my picks for the truck series. So my main pick, it is of course none other than John Hernimacek. So yeah, John Hernimacek is gonna get it done at Bristol. Bold pick. I'm going with Chandler Smith. You know, I've been waiting for him to break out and get a win. And you know, his boss, you know, he knows how to get around this track. So I think Chandler Smith could get some advice from his boss on Bristol Motor Speedway.
Experience from ARCA and experience from his past races. He's raced in trucks before.
Yeah. And the non-playoff pick, I'm going with Sam Mayer. You know, last year he won 2 races in one night, winning the truck series race and winning the ARCA race. And looks like we had Addison who just pulled the Rick Allen. So
I literally said main pick was Sam Mayer. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, press F in the chat.
Sorry. Sam Mayer is actually not my non-playoff pick. Main pick, I'm actually gonna have to say now for trucks. Sorry.
Yeah, we have Rick Allen on this podcast, by the way. So
sorry for making that mistake. I honestly thought the truck series was a never mind. My main pick, I'm just gonna have to say oh dying man. Main pick. I also would have to say main pick. He has, I don't know how well he is at Bristol, but main pick. He's a. I was gonna say Tyler Ankrum, but he's not even in the playoffs. Okay, he is in the playoffs. I'm gonna have to say main pick is time. Apologies.
yeah. So Anthony put F in the chat, 2 Fs, laughing emoji, and he says, Addison, it's all good. Yeah.
That's honestly the dumbest mistake I've ever made. Yeah. I don't even know.
Just get Rick Allen on this podcast, and how many mistakes will he catch?
I don't know.
I don't even know, bro.
Now Xfinity.
Did you already say your main pick?
I didn't say my main pick for Xfinity.
No, I'm saying for trucks.
Yeah, you did. It was Todd Gilliland.
Oh, okay. All right. So Xfinity. All right. Well, yeah. Go. All right. So give us your Xfinity series pick.
All right. Main pick. Just like for trucks, and I'm now sure this is not. I'm now in no
this. Well, they're regular. This is the regular season finale. So yeah.
We are unfortunately going to have to hurry up. Or no, never mind. Main pick for Xfinity, just like I said in trucks as a pick. The King of Bristol, Sam Mayer. It'll be interesting if he will get his first win in Xfinity. Now my ball pick. I would have to pick between Allgaier and Cindric, or maybe Hendrick, but I have to say my ball pick. Why not Justin Allgaier?
All right. All right. So my Xfinity series picks. Hear me out, and all you people watching, hear me out. I say this is the night. He'll be the night he finally gets it done. We don't have to hear when is he gonna win. The wait will finally be over, on Friday night. Daniel Hemrick will finally get that elusive first career NASCAR Touring Series win at Bristol. And it's going to come none other than Bristol Motor Speedway. So I'm calling it Daniel Hemrick gets his first career win at Bristol.
Before you say your ball pick, apparently their time limit is come back on my live stream now. But if you guys want to hear the rest of the picks, go on to Daniel's or the Turn for Podcast YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's on. Link will be on my bio.
So. And if you guys want to watch the rest of the podcast, go to the link in Daniel's profile bio, and see you guys later.
Yep.
Now bet.
All right, so Daniel Hemrick is my main pick, and then my bowl pick, I'm going with Justin Haley. Besides super speedways, Justin Haley has put in good runs on the short tracks, especially Richmond last week. So I expect a good run from Justin Haley. All right, so now we're gonna go over to the Cup Series. So Addison, take it away.
All right. Main pick. Hold on a sec. I did send them in a text to you, but for Cup hold on. For Cup, my main pick. This is obviously his playground when at Bristol. Main pick is none other than Mr. KFB Kyle Busch, and my bowl pick. He has run a bit decent, sometimes a bit strong at Bristol. And my bowl pick, I'm gonna go with Ryan Blaney. And my non-playoff pick, you'll be shocked of this one. He has started to make this team be more up in the top 20, and of course did leave some laps in the Bristol dirt race. My non-playoff pick, I am going with Daniel Suarez.
All right. So my picks for the Cup race. So my main pick, it's been a year since he's been to victory lane, and I say he's going to get that first win of the season. I'm going with Kevin Harvick. He will be back in victory lane where he last got at the track where he got his last Cup win. So I say Kevin Harvick will finally get that elusive first win of the season and lock himself into the round of 12. Bull pick, he's been wanting to win at Bristol. He's been close several times. Bull pick, Kyle Larson. And non-playoff pick, I'm gonna actually go with a driver who actually has ran pretty well at Bristol and has gotten 2 second-place finishes in the past. I'm going with none other than Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as my non-playoff pick. So
interesting.
Bull Larson, non-playoff Stenhouse. All right. So that will do it for our Cup Series picks for Bristol. I want to thank every one of y'all for watching, for sticking your Tuesday evening with us. Thank you. I appreciate all you people who are watching. And we don't really have any other announcements. No guests confirmed yet, but I want to thank Addison for being in this podcast episode. Mauricio and Anthony unfortunately couldn't make it in, but they should be back next. They should be back next week.
But I'll be back but I'll probably be back if they don't come back if they have anything to do.
But yeah, I appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone at Lionel Racing. I appreciate especially those people who are supporting this podcast. Definitely means a lot. We do have some announcements coming in the past few weeks. I do have one, but I'm not going to announce it yet. But
yeah,
it should be. It's definitely I'm not going to play spoiler. So, but it is something that it does involve with the podcast, which is a new direction that the podcast will be heading in. But I'm not going to announce it yet. But I'm in the works in it. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching. Please go follow Addison, myself, the rest of the podcast member. I'll put all their links and their social medias in the bio. And I want to wish everyone a wonderful week, a wonderful evening. And as we get ready for Bristol and for Elimination Week, I want to say thank you guys so much. Addison, anything else you want to add on before we wrap it up?
Nothing really.
All right. But before we wrap it up, Anthony mentioned his picks. He says his cup picks. Main pick, William Byron. Bull pick, Kurt Busch. Non-playoff, Chastain. And he says eliminated, he has McDowell, Almirola, Reddick, and Keselowski. Interesting to watch. All right. Have a great rest of the evening.